In Access 2007, we might want to create a query that performs a calculation for us. For instance, I have a lot of jobs. What's the average wage for all those jobs? What's the highest or what's the lowest? I can create these queries using built-in functions. They're similar to those that you saw in Excel, like average, minimum, maximum. We start our query off exactly the same way. We use Design View. We first select the tables that contain the fields that we want to use. We then bring down specific fields into our query window, add in the totals row, and then choose our function or grouping levels. Now that we're back in Excel, we want to create a query that will give us statistics on the average, on the wage of each of the positions offered by different employers. To do this, we will be using information from the position table, and we're going to create a query. I click on the Create tab, and we're going to use the Design View. As I just mentioned, we want to use just the position table. So I add it into my top window and close. I'm interested in seeing information about the wages for the jobs. If I bring down that field now and I run the query, I can see that I get 62 different wages representing the different wages for each one of the jobs. What I would like to see instead is, well, what's the average wage of all these jobs? I go back into Design View, and because I want to do a calculation on this field, I bring down the Totals row. When I click on the Totals button, a new row is brought down in between Table and Sort with the words Group By in it. If I click where it says Group By and click on the down arrow, I can see some built-in functions. We said we want the average wage. I click Average. If I run this query now, I get one number, $15.11, which is the average of all of our wages. Going back into Design View, if I want to change that heading, I click right before the W, and I'm going to type in average wage with a colon. Running the query now and adjusting the size of the column, I see that I have one statistic calculated, so the average of all 62 jobs is $15.11. If I want to add in some other functions, I can click View. I bring down the wage field 2 more times. This time I'm going to choose the minimum. In the third row I'm going to choose the maximum. I adjust my column heading, so I'm going to say lowest wage. And the third column I will say highest wage with a colon. When I run the query now, I can adjust my column width, and I see that the lowest paying job pays $9.50 an hour, while the highest paying job pays $25 an hour. So again, all I did was I brought down all 3 fields, and I chose to do a calculation on all of them. If I wanted to go back in and find out, well, I have a lot of different types of jobs. What's the statistics on each type of job? I'm going to bring down the position title, and I want it at the beginning, so I'm going to put it down over average wage, and it just inserts it in front. You'll notice when I bring down that field, in the totals row for that field, it says Group By. If I run the query right now, I now get 16 rows. Each one of the position titles is listed one time. Next to that, I can see the average, the lowest, and the highest wage for each one of those positions. So for instance, for waiter or waitress in the last row, the average wage is $10.33. They have the lowest paying job at $9.50, and it goes up to $12.